Hello students, in the last video we have started the lesson The Sound of Music and had completed the first part of The Sound of Music. Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it, and today we are going to read the part 2, that is the sorry the Sehnai of Bismillah Khan. Very interesting lesson, and you must know about this person, the Bismillah Khan. So now listen. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. That means, in ancient time there was a musical instrument named pungi, and this pungi had been banned by Emperor Aurangzeb in the to play in the royal residence, because it had a very shrill, unpleasant sound. The sound was not interesting, not mm, pleasant. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers, and now it had become a name of any kind of noise that was not pleasant for ears. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. No one thought that this instrument, that is pungi, would be revived again. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi, and a barber from a royal family had thought to improve the tonal quality, the sound of the pungi. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and he selected a pipe of bamboo, of natural bamboo, and that was longer and broader than the original pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe, When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. And when he started playing this pungi, the newly made pungi, closing and opening the holes of that pungi, it gave out melodious and pleasant sound. He played the instrument before royalty, and everyone was impressed. And he played this instrument before the royalty, before the royal family, and everyone was impressed. The instrument, so different from pungi, had to be given a new name. Now this instrument was very different from pungi, so it was time to give the new name to this instrument. All the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah chamber and played by a nai, that is barber, the instrument was named the Sehnai. Look, as the story tells, that first it was played in the Shah chamber, in the king's court, in the king's palace, Shah chambers, and also it was played by nai means barber. So this instrument was named as Sehnai. The sound of the Sehnai began to be considered auspicious. Look, now the sound of the Sehnai was considered as auspicious. In Hindi we call Shubh, bahut acha. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Look, it is said that now in all temples of India, the Sehnai is played, and also it is a part of North Indian wedding. In the past, the Sehnai was part of the Naubat, or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at the royal courts. And in ancient times, in the when in the court of the kings, there were Naubats. That means there were 9 kinds of musical instruments in the court of the kings, and Sehnai was one of them. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Look here, and this instrument was brought to the scene by Ustad Bismillah Khan. That means the popularity of Sehnai was brought, the importance of Sehnai was brought to the scene, to the level, and it was brought by Ustad Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. That means when Bismillah was 5 years old, he played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. That means at that time he was living in Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, and he would regularly go to the Bihariji temple to sing Bhojpuri Chaita. So Chaita is a folk song, you can say, a traditional song of Bihar, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. And at the end of the Chaita, he would get a laddu, and the weight of the laddu was 1.25 kg, and it was given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and it was the incident of 80 years ago. And the little boy has traveled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. And the 5 years little boy who was playing gilli danda in Dumrao, now he traveled so far that he won the Bharat Ratna award, the greatest civilian award of India, Bharat Ratna award. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. That means Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916, and he belonged to a well-known musician family from Bihar. His grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Sehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court, and his grandfather Rasul Baksh Khan was the Sehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's Court. His father Paigambar Baksh and other paternal ancestors were also great Sehnai players. That means his all forefathers were musicians, and they belonged to royal courts. The young boy took to music early in life, and he also started the music in the early of his life and when he was a child. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Benares, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Sehnai. When he was 3 years old, he went to his maternal uncle's house in Benares with his mother, and he was very happy to see his uncles practicing Sehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Benares, where Baksh was employed to play the Sehnai. And soon he also accompanied his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Benares, where his uncle was employed to play the Sehnai. That means his uncle was playing regularly. He was doing the job of playing Sehnai in the Vishnu temple. Ali Baksh would play the Sehnai, and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. And when Ali Baksh started playing the Sehnai, Bismillah would sit there looking at him very carefully, very attentively. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. And slowly he started playing the instrument. That means started practicing and would practice throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and the bank of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts, where he could practice in solitude. That means he started practicing the Sehnai in the temples of Balaji, Mangalmaya, and on the bank of river Ganga. The flowing water of the Ganga inspired him to improve and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Sehnai. And on the bank of the Ganga, he started improving the tonal condition of the Sehnai and started making new ragas, which was that time thought that it was beyond the range of Sehnai. It was not possible, but he was making it possible. He was making new ragas with the Sehnai. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference, and at the age of 14, Bismillah went to Allahabad Music Conference with his uncle. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayyaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, and when he performed at the stage in the Allahabad Music Conference, Ustad Bismillah Khan called him and patted him and said, what he said, work hard and you shall make it. That work hard and you will do something greater, something great. With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break, and when the first radio station was started in 1938 in Lucknow, Bismillah got his first break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio, and he started playing Shehnai on the radio station. When India gained independence on 15 August 1947, and when India became independent on August 1947, on 15 August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. And first of all, from the Red Fort, Bismillah Khan played the Shehnai to greet the all Indian, wishing the all Indian an independent country. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who gave his famous Prize to His Destiny speech. And from the Red Fort, he played the Raga Kafi to the audience, to the whole audience who were watching there. And in that audience, Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was also there. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave his famous speech, Prize to His Destiny. Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. That means he has given his performances all over India and also in abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. Look, for the first time he went to Afghanistan to perform, and after his performance, King Zahir Shah of Afghanistan was so much attracted with his music that he gave him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. The king of Afghanistan was not the only one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Not the king of Afghanistan was fascinated with Bismillah's music, but that means so many so many great personalities personalities liked him. Film director Vijay Bhatt was so impressed after hearing Bismillah's play at a festival that he named the film after the instrument called Gunj Uthi Shehnai. And film director Vijay Bhatt also impressed hearing Bismillah's music. He was so impressed that he named a film on the instrument of Bismillah, and the name of the film was Gunj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit, and one of the Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster, and a song that was composed by Bismillah, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, it was a nationwide chartbuster. It was a bumper hit. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two. Besides the big success, that means he was very successful in film industry also, but he was limited only two films. Vijay Bhatt's Gunj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas Kannada venture Sanadhi Aparna. That means one Hindi film that was Gunj Uthi Shehnai, and one Kannada film, that is Sanadhi Aparna. He gave in music only in two films. I just can't come to terms with the artificially and glamour of the film world, he says with the emphasis. He says that he is not able to adjust with the terms, with the artificially and glamour of the film world. He did not like the glamour of the film world. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. He got so many awards. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian who was invited to perform in the Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. Look, he also took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. He was also called to perform in World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, and in the Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. So he became so famous, internationally so famous that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, and the name was given Tehar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. The auditorium was named as Tehar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. National awards like the Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. He was given awards like Padma Shri, the Padma Bhushan, and the Padma Vibhushan. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, and in 2001 he was given the India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, he said, taking those awards and keeping in his chest, pressing in his chest, he said, all I would like to say is, and he would like to say what he said, teach your children music. He said, all of us to teach our children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. This is the Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music. And when the West, the people from West are coming to learn our music. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Sahab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. Even if he has traveled so many countries in the world, but he was very fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and these were the important places, very important places for him in his whole life. A student of his once wanted him to head a Senai school in the USA. Look, one of his students wanted to establish a Senai school in USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Benaras by replicating temple there, and also he had promised that he would make temples to make the environment of Banaras there. But Khan Sahab asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. But Khan Sahab had asked him if he would be able to take the river Ganga there. Later he is remembered to have said, he is remembered to say, that is why whenever I am in foreign country, I keep yearning to see Hindustan. So he says that whenever he is in foreign country, he was very desirous to come to Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras. That means whenever he is in Mumbai, he think about Banaras and the Holy Ganga. And while he is in Banaras, I miss the unique Matha of Dumrao. He missed the unique Matha of Dumrao. Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of rich cultural heritage of India, one that appropriately accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Senai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. You look here that Ustad Bismillah Khan, who is an example of rich cultural heritage of India. He is the example of rich and cultural, because even if he is a devout Muslim, he is a Muslim, he can play the Senai every morning at Kashi Vishwanath temple. There was no need to say anything about the cultural heritage, about the character, about the thinking of Ustad Bismillah Khan. So you have known that what kind of life he lived, and how he brought Senai to a scene, that means he gave to make it famous. No, now we know that Ustad Bismillah Khan passed away on 21st August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness. That means he left us on 21st August 2006. He was given a state funeral, and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. So students, you have learned, and if you have any problem regarding this lesson, you can ask me through my WhatsApp number. Tomorrow I will give you questions to make do at home, and you can send me through in my personal WhatsApp number. Thank you.